the work you do, and keep the feedback coming. I know we ask a lot of you, but thank you very much. Just administratively, as I said last year, the league's now incorporated. We pay taxes. Well, we don't pay taxes, thankfully. We file taxes. So I just for our meeting and for regulatory purposes, I just need to do a quick roll call. So I know Bayhead's here. Beacon Hill, Edensbrook, Bernards, Brookside, Canoebrook. Is that a yes for Canoebrook? Thanks for making it a lot harder. Fish and Game, Deal, Englewood. Anybody there? Fairmont?
Yes.
Here.
There we go. Fellsbrook, Fiddlers.
Yeah, that's mutes, and that's set the microphone to mute and unmute. Thank you.
Hold on. Who is that?
Looks like
Blake.
Fiddlers. Young players.
Just gonna change my shirt.
There we go. Found the mute all button. I usually don't have to use that. Where was I? This is gonna be hard to do now. Fellsbrook, Fiddlers, Florin Park.
Here.
All right. Glen Ridge, Haworth.
Here. Glenridge is here.
All right, cool.
Haworth is here too. Haworth
Great.
is here.
I saw crossed Lake Valhalla,
Here.
Maplewood.
Here.
Yeah. Mendham, Minnesink.
Here.
You get a question. Each two people get the same
I know
question.
field clubs there.
So at all times it's like.
Yep.
Field club's here.
Yep. Navasink.
Yep. I'm here.
Yep. That great. North Jersey. Park Lakes is there. Plainfield. Rackets Club of Short Hills.
Here.
Ridgewood. Okay. Ridgewood. Rockaway River.
Here.
Roxiticus. Rumson. Seabright. Huh. Springbrook. Oh, Seabright
Yes,
there.
what's here?
Okay.
Yeah, Seabrooks here.
Springbrook's here.
Great. Summit.
Here.
Trump National. Upper Ridgewood. And
Here.
Wayne. All right. Wayne. All right. Thanks for that. All right. So that's the tedious part. Just on the board, no changes on the board. All the roles are indicated on their website, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But that just thanks to the board and all the work they do. I'm going to have Justin jump in here. Justin Taylor is our treasurer. He's going to talk about the finances of the league and where we stand. Justin?
Thanks, Rob. Hi, everybody. Luckily, we can keep it pretty short this year. Finances are in really good shape. Last year went super well. We are starting off this year by bringing back our main sponsors. So we've got Private Wealth as our signature sponsor. They're back. They'll be the lead. My Paddle's back involved, and as well as Zeno. So we're going to have some extra support, which is always appreciated. Again, finances are in good shape. We did some good planning last year, sort of anticipating that, and luckily unfortunately we were right, but we were anticipating prices going up. So we put a little bit aside. By doing that, we're going to be able to keep the fees this year the same. So for the fall league, it'll be $25 again, and the winter will be $20. I have not heard anything or seen anything to the contrary, but I would anticipate the APTA fee being $35 again, which is our usual membership. And we will look to coordinate that effort and have everybody sign up as a member, unless you're a lifetime member. Other than that, we anticipate having a good year, and let's keep the ball rolling.
Great. Any questions for Justin? All right. So just jump right into it. So we're going to start the season Monday, October 10th. And that's just based on feedback. We moved that back a week because I heard so many people. We start so early, golf season. No one's their first match. First time someone plays, a lot of people are playing paddle as the first match. So we tried to move it back. That means we're going to go through Thanksgiving. The League Classic is probably about as late as we want to have it on December 17th. But again, moving it back to based on what we heard from all the players and captains. In a continuing effort to try and get more matches during the week because we have so many teams now, we're trying to alleviate the pressure of Saturday mornings. We're doing A, B, C, and D on Monday, E through H on Tuesday, and I through N on Saturday. Okay, so one of the big changes we're doing this year, and talking to a lot of leagues around the country, we were the only league that did this. We allowed post plays in the past, and I know there's good reason for it. And I understand we only have 9 matches, and every match is important. But I heard from a lot of the captains that, hey, I don't mind being captain, but I didn't sign up to do 100 emails to organize one match, and I've done that myself, so I know that can happen. Excuse me. So, we've realized that the biggest problem was the post plays. So, like every other league in the country, we are eliminating post plays. A couple of reasons for that. One, the main reason I just mentioned, but also it's just a lot. It's a lot more fun to have all the 4 matches, at the same time for those courts for those facilities that have 4 courts. So hopefully it increases, just brings back some fun in the league. So you can always pre-play if you need to. We're allowing that. But one of the things I looked at from a statistical purposes that a lot of the guys signed up, and I think it was around 30% played 1 match or less. So there's a lot of people that have registered are not playing. So let's bring up those players. Let's get everyone playing on the same night, same time, and I think the league will be more fun. I'll pause there for any questions regarding that or comments.
Rob, George, I believe Saturday morning we have at least 2 3-day weekends in those 9 match weeks. I mean, we try to pre-play, but that's basically the first week of the season, I think.
Well, the first Monday is Columbus Day. So what other?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're playing through Thanksgiving. Yeah.
So I mean, those are 2 really tough weekends to get full teams out. But
yeah, I think that's a good point regarding Thanksgiving, that Saturday match. So we can definitely have a conversation about that. I'd rather people pre-play. I mean, we'll have the schedule out a week or 2 before the season starts. So you can pre-play those matches, but we'll entertain conversations if you can't pre-play for some reason. But then again, you have 2 months to pre-play, so I really can't see how that could be an issue. Again, this is based on feedback from captains.
Okay.
That the post plays are just causing too much work. I get it about the weekends, but every other league in the country does it. So I'm not sure why we can't try it.
No, I agree with the no post play, but just Thanksgiving weekend particularly is tough because you got Thursday, no one's playing then, and then at Friday, no, and then a lot of people are traveling. So that, I mean, that weekend in particular is gonna be tough to pre-play. But we could, because you can't play. Nobody's gonna play Wednesday night either. So, but okay.
Okay.
Not a comment, but I just wanted to let you know Anglewood's on. We got on around the ends around Navasink.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sorry.
Hey, Rob, question if all right.
Yep.
Outside of the holidays, are there any parameters that we should be kind of guiding ourselves on why to pre-play?
Yeah, I really, as we put in the note that we sent out, I guess it was about a month ago. We really don't want you to have a pre-play either. We really want all 4 matches played at the same time. And it's really the last step you can take is pre-play. Reach down and grab people and bring them up. Yes, it might be a weaker team, but next week you might be playing a team that might be doing the same exact thing. So we really don't want you to pre-play. We definitely are not allowing post-play. but try your best to just bring up other players just to feel the team. I think it's just gonna we're trying to have more fun in this league, and I think having 4 matches, all the guys sitting around afterwards, is more fun than just people playing on off times and or pre-playing on different times. So let's try and do that and try and limit the pre-plays also. Thanks, Justin. Okay.
Hey, Rob.
Yep, sure.
This is Basil Murray from Mendham. I just dialed in, so I apologize for being late. Just a quick question on the post-play, pre-play. If we're, like, we got asked to, if a tournament could use our courts on a Saturday morning and it's associated with, the APTA.
Yep.
And we got 2 teams who play on Saturday mornings. I don't know if they'll be home, or hopefully they're both away and this is a nothing burger, but if they're home, what do you suggest we do there?
Yep, I think that's I got a couple of questions about that. That's the Montclair tournament happening.
Yeah.
That's the first big APTA match of the season, or tournament of the season. So I know that's an issue. I would love I'd love for you guys to pre-play. That would be the best thing to do. And you'll see the schedule. Like I said, it'll be out not well before that. Ray, when is that tournament? When's the Montclair tournament? Ray Crosta? You're on mute too.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
It's early. It's October, early October, mid-October, I think.
I think it might be the first Saturday of matches.
Yeah, it's early.
October 15, I believe.
Yeah, Rob, I think you're correct.
It's the first Saturday of matches. Yeah.
It is, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, listen, common sense has to prevail. I hate to have so many rules. We're trying to get away from rules. Just please use common sense. I mean, we have to support the APTA and what they do. And I know that tournaments is really kind of screws up our idea of no post plays, but please try and pre-play, and we'll try and get the schedule out. Dennis and Andrew, please get the schedule out at least 10 days before the season starts, so you know exactly where you are and what's going on that weekend. I want to support the APTA, and I don't want facilities to say no because they have a match. So we will, provide flexibility as we need to.
Yeah, thank you.
Underlying theme in all this is just common sense. That's the rule. Hopefully we're showing that ourselves. All right, the next big change, we implemented it a couple years ago, PTI. All the other leagues, more or less all the other leagues are using it. We thought it was a good idea. We thought it put people in the right category, or I use the term right bucket. We thought it made sense. We thought it would make your lives easier, but it obviously has backfired. It's not being used the way we thought it'd be used. It just seems to be working. And again, listening to the captains, we're not going to require that captains or teams use PTI to determine a team's lineup. So we're going back to where we were before. I don't know how long the league's been around, 40 years, 30 years, whenever it's been. We're relying on the captain's best judgment to determine their strength of schedule, or strength of team. I'm sorry. We will still calculate PTIs for all matches. You'll be able to see other people's PTI, but we're relying on the captains to determine the strength of their teams. And again, it's that A1 spot. If you have a team in A and if you have a team in the last division, it's got to go in order all the way throughout. So you need to coordinate with other captains within your team to make sure that your A4 team is not weaker than your B1 team. I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but that A4 team's got to be stronger than B1, and et cetera, et cetera. So we got to do a flow. And an idea I stole from the Chicago League, who has 6,000 members. By the way, we have about 1,800 members. They let the captains deal with stacking issues. They have this is the idea that the away team will provide their lineup prior to the match. Let's say I just threw out there 24 hours prior to the match, and the home team will provide it about 6 hours prior to the match. The captains themselves in that time will work out whether or not they think they're stacking, and they can work it out themselves. Of course, we're here for you as a last resort, and we're happy to help you in that situation, but we're trying to prevent the retroactive complaints we've had of stacking. So that's an idea we have. Hopefully it works. So there's no surprises when people arrive of what's going on. And use the website. The website's very powerful. We don't use it even close to its utilization. Put your names up there of your players, and then when you go post the scores, or if the other captain has your names already in the system. So it's a very easy thing to do. If anyone has any questions on how to do it, please reach out to us, and we'll help you through. We'll help you through that.
Rob, it's
Question.
Derek. Two
Yep,
questions.
Yep. Sorry, I just put everybody on mute. So sorry. If you want to ask a question, just take it off mute. Yep.
Rob, it's Derek. So two
Yep.
questions as it relates to that. So for guys that are traveling and that would be playing on Tuesday night, can they play on so there's no situation where they can play on the Saturday teams because they have travel for work during the week, unless our third court 1 on our 4th team, we still have to manage court 4 on the 3rd team for court 1 on the 4th team. So so my question,
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So we have so much weekday stuff now, which is great and we support. But when guys travel, I don't want to say that guys are out if we have a Saturday option. But it does sound like if we can't line up the things, we might be saying to guys, you actually are out if we can't make the numbers work on PTI.
Well, it's not just PTI; it's your judgment too.
Yeah.
And you can use PTI as part of your determine your judgment, but that's a correct statement. If you don't play in that order, then that person cannot play that week. Correct.
Okay, and then the related question is it that person or the team's PTI that determines that? It's the team combined PTI, right? So we could get a 20 and a 70 to play together if we needed to.
Yeah, I don't want like if Mike Stulak's traveling, Derek, on a Tuesday or Monday. I don't want him playing in on your B team though too. That's where we got to use common sense. You can't put Mike as a 2 with a guy who's an 80 and put them on your B team. That's not. We can't do stuff like that.
Okay, so
and I'm happy and I think we need to clarify, and I'm going to take this as an action because I don't think the board has resolved this issue. If a team and hopefully I answered your questions, Jack, before I go to the next point.
You answered the first question. The second one is it combined or is it the individual or maybe a little bit of both when we determine the lineup for the PTI?
It's both, really. Yeah. One question I think I need to have clarified, I don't have a clear answer right now, is if a team forfeits, let's say a C4 match, does that C4 team, is that allowed to move down to, let's say, a D1 team or an E2 team or something like that? I'm going to get back to everybody on that and whether or not that can happen or not. Okay.
Rob, on the defaults, Rob, defaults are from in order, right?
Correct. You start at 4. Yes. So if you're what's the example here? If your 4 team is not available, well, they default. But if your 2 team is not available, everyone has got to move up that one spot. So if the 2 team's not available, you can't just default court 2. You still have to default court 4, and you move your other teams up. Hopefully, I said that clearly.
Yes.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Pete Majorano from Fairmont. How are you?
Great, Pete. Nice to see you.
Sorry, I just had a question. I'm just a little confused on the the creating of the courts, and it's like PTI is not the sole determinant. It sounds like the captain just has to basically feel that regardless of the guy's PTIs, that he's got the strongest pairing on court 1, then court 2, then court 3, then court 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right. And if that's the
Correct.
case, that means the opposing captain he could raise the issue, but he can't really, like if he calls the other captain, that guy's just going to say, well, that's how I see them regardless of the numbers, I guess. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's more than just the numbers. We have, some situations where people's PTI is not correct. Yeah. And we gave some waivers on that last year because of that. So that might be that instance. Somebody might be, injured, right? For a couple of years, and and their PTI might be wrong. So there are extenuating circumstances that would allow for judgment to come into play. So the captains need to discuss that. We're always here as a backdrop. We're always here. You know, we have a referee, group of referees on the board, and they can go to them if you guys can't work it out. But we're hopeful in this situation that you guys work out more amongst yourselves. Pre-playing, because post-playing, retroactively looking at a match is difficult to do and causes other issues. So,
and by the way, I think I mean, I've been a captain a couple of years, and I've always looked to try to exchange the lineups ahead of time. And I didn't realize that it was something that wasn't done on a regular basis. I think that's a great idea just anyway.
I think, I mean, I must have been, I never did it as a captain, but I think it's a good thing to do going forward.
So it's official. It's now like in a rule where we submit our line. I'm fine. I'll comply. Obviously, I'm just confused. Is it a recommendation, or you actually have to submit your lineups in advance?
I think if you don't listen, we're flying by the seat of our pants here too. I mean, I'm just worried
about last minute. I'm just worried about last minute cancellations and the logistics. That, I mean, I know, and I appreciate the PTI, the spirit, and we try to play straight up. Sometimes logistically it doesn't work, even though people, might think you have nefarious motives. You actually don't. But if I submit a lineup Wednesday and one of my guys gets into a car, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so a couple of things on that. One, I would say this, and I was just, before this call, I was just updating the rules. I would say this: if you don't put your lineup to the captain to the other captain ahead of time, then you have no ground basis whatsoever to complain about stacking. So I'm going to say we highly recommend that you give your lineup ahead of time to diffuse any future issues. Okay. Now, listen, we all get stuck. Train issues, we're back to commuting, travel issues. That all happens. Again, then just common sense has to rule. You just reach out to the, hey, Joe got stuck in New York. I'm pulling Bill in. If you can't pull somebody in, then the match goes as a default.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Rob,
I understand. So it's technically a recommendation. So just to be clear, it's technically a recommendation because which I'll follow. I'm not challenging it at all. I'm just trying to understand the consequences. And obviously, if there's a stacking problem afterwards, you guys aren't going to be that sympathetic if you didn't submit it beforehand. I get
correct.
that. And by the way, that's totally fair. I'm not challenging this in any way. I'm just trying to understand. So, and if you have last minute changes, you submit them on the website, or just try to communicate it with the captain? Are we actually submitting the lineup in advance on the website, or just communicating it via email?
Well, I think the easiest way would be to update on the lineup, but you can do it by email because, again, it's a nice tool on the website. If the name's already there, it's so easy. You can do it on your phone via the app and just update the scores right on the app right there as soon as the matches are done.
No, but I'm actually updating the roster before they're done. That's my point. Does the software allow you to update a roster in advance?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't know. I've never done it. So, okay.
Yeah. I tell you what, I
Thank
just
you.
asked. Yeah, no problem. Good questions, and I appreciate them. We have a cheat sheet that I just asked Andrew Haynes to update. I'll make sure that he provides details on how to do the whole pre-lineup ahead of time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Rob, this is Rich Daydone from Haworth. First of all, thank you for changing this PTI. I think that helps a whole bunch. What my contention has always been availability, and that's what we always try to do. We're a smaller club. We only have 2 teams in the whole states thing, so that's been a challenge. But I'm just guessing that there's going to be a bunch of defaults here, just based on what I've seen for the last 38 years, where all of a sudden I get a call from the other captain that, the such and such can't make it. And, as much as we want to play these things, I'm just guessing that that's going to be one of the issues that's going to come up. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Rich, thanks again for being captain. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also a change of mindset that's needed too. Talking to people in other leagues throughout the country, they know that Monday night, 7 o'clock, they're playing paddle, period. And I know I had this mindset in the past. Oh, I'm going to do something else because I'll just post play my paddle match. But not now we know that we can't post play. Oh, I'll just cancel that other thing or change that other thing, and I'll play my paddle match. Now, trust me, I know that's a utopian viewpoint, and we all have work things and family things that sometimes you can't change. But I think there are a lot of times we could change other things to make sure we played that league match. So hopefully there's a little bit of that in this upcoming season. Well, we'll see. I think we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Amen.
Rob, it's Mike from Minnesota. I couldn't agree more. I think a lot of this is about training the guys that you play on your night and you get used to it. If you can't make it, we pick the next lower guy. So I think it's a great thing.
Great, thanks. Hopefully it works.
Rob, on that point, I think the Saturday matches are more at risk for
Rob,
default than the weeknight matches. Because you got all the kids' activities.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen during the week, or they're over, or two people can handle it. The Saturday matches are the ones more at risk.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that's George. I fully agree with you, George. If someone wants to answer that question. Yeah, I think you're right. And that's why one of the reasons we're trying to move more matches to be during the week.
Yeah.
But we just have court issues. But I agree with you.
And I presume we can use all of Saturday for that match, not just the morning.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, we're saying between the 8 and 11 on the rules I just wrote up. But again, if you want to play at 12, you want to play at 2, that's fine. But again, the idea is to have all 4 matches at the same time. But if do your best to get the matches done on Saturdays. Yeah, but if you got the kids soccer game at 9 and the matches are all at 9, play at 11. Then that's fine. Sorry, someone asked a question: are we not allowing post plays? Yes,
Rob, I was just going to throw out an idea.
That's correct. With no post plays. Sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
This is something I was thinking as I'm listening to this, and what I think I might try and implement.
Justin, we got a bad connection with you.
Setting up. So I've got my 8 guys playing on a Tuesday night, but I'm going to tell them there's 9 and 10. If you're around, I need you're the back, so that at least I have someone to go to in short notice.
Yep. Good point. So bad connection there, Justin. But basically, tell the 9 and 10 guys that they've got to be on call too for flexibility.
Yep.
Okay. All right. This is a call for you guys, so I'm happy to answer any other questions or hear any other comments, or I'm happy to move on too.
Rob, I'm a first time captain. What am I getting myself into? This is what it sounded like.
Hopefully, a lot easier than what the other captains had the last 3 years. Hopefully, okay. That's the whole goal of this. I mean, it could backfire on us. I don't think so. I really don't, or else we wouldn't have done it, obviously. But hopefully, your job as captain is going to be easier. Hopefully.
Sorry, can you repeat the away and home team deadlines for
rough order of magnitude? I think in my note I said like 24 hours for the away team to provide their lineup and 6 hours for the home team to provide their lineup.
I know I'm going to get this question. Why aren't they the same?
Well, I just didn't think that. You know what? I didn't think that was practical to do. Okay, at 12 o'clock, boom, send your lineups in. I didn't think it was practical to do. So I just said that I just thought that one team should do it ahead of time, and the home team would have the opportunity to adjust based on the other team's lineup.
Okay, home court advantage. Yep. I know I'm going to get asked that, so
that's fair.
I'll quote you.
Yep.
Rob, did you mention about there's an app? I'm sorry, I've never used it.
Yep, there's an app. We'll send a link out on the app.
Thank you.
It's not a great app, by the way, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Rich, I see Rich laughing. You agree with that, Rich? So, yeah, George Foot, go ahead, please.
Yeah. A question on the pre-play. We've got one team with maybe 10 players. So if we say we need to pre-play, and the other team has a team of 16 guys, and they can field 4 teams no matter what. Is it incumbent on them to work with us on pre-playing?
Yeah, I mean, so our number one rule, well, we have actually 1 and 1A rule is, 1 is don't be an asshole, 2 is don't be that guy. Kind of the same thing. I mean, if you go to a team, George, and you say, hey, listen, we only have 10 guys, and you're always struggling, and you got 7, but you can get 8 to play on a pre-play, or 1 team to play on a pre-play, and none of the team says no to that. I don't think that's in the spirit of our league.
I agree. Just wanted to raise the point.
I know that opens up other issues, which we're trying to prevent. We're trying to have all the matches played at the same time, but we also want the matches to be played. We don't want to see. Really don't want to see an increase in number of defaults, and I'm relying on those, again, that 30% of the people. By the way, 30%, that's like 500 people that played 1 match or less last year. There's a lot of depth out there, people not being used. I know, George, it doesn't apply to your team with only 2 extra guys. So hopefully that's the exception rather than the rule on situations like yours. Pull up, guys. That's what we're saying. I mean, if you got to, let's say you're in the A League, just an easy example for me. If you got A League and the guy's never played A before, but you're going to default the match, bring up a guy from B. Or and the same thing all the way down to the other leagues. You never know. Weather issues. Last couple of years I've made like calls sitting here in Chatham on a weather issue, and I try to look at all the forecasts, but it's just impossible for me to do sitting from here. So I just said, this is ridiculous that I'm making this decision for Englewood or for Bayhead. It just doesn't make any sense. So what I said is, what we came up as a board is that the 2 captains decide whether or not that match should be played. You guys work it out. If you don't think, please don't use this as a reason to do a post play. You have to confirm to the board. I'm going to put Rich in charge of organizing this, because Rich does all of our reviewing of matches. Send an email to Rich prior to the time the match was supposed to begin that both captains have agreed to a weather postponement. You'll have 10 days after that date to play that match. For Saturday morning matches, do it by 7 a.m. For matches during the week, do it by 4 p.m. So you guys decide. The league's no longer involved. You guys decide when there should be a weather delay. The only way the league's going to be involved is letting us know prior to the scheduled time.
Rob, does this Jason Spitz? Do you have to make that decision on the day of 3 or 4 hours prior, or if there's a front and it looks like it's going to be raining all day, you can make that decision a day in advance?
You should make the decision by those times. So if you're Al Roker and that's going to be a bad day tomorrow, even though I've called every time I try to do that ahead of time, it always turned into a playable day.
Right.
I was talking to the guys in Chicago. Pretty crappy weather out there. They never have rain or weather delays. I don't know why or how, but they never have weather delays. I guess they just play through it. But I don't think that's safe for driving purposes, especially if we have snow, especially against the Winter League. So bottom line is, you guys as captains work it out.
Got it. Thank you.
Is that all right, Jason?
Yep, sounds good.
Somebody asked how do we handle weather issues for Thursday matches. Very easily. There are no Thursday matches, so but hopefully that clears up how we're doing weather issues. It's just,
Rob, the only issues that come up is, we're in northern Bergen County, and if we're playing at Bayhead, that's an issue. So we're just looking for someone to cooperate. That's all.
Yes, and I know that drive sucks, and the last thing you want to do is drive from Harworth, Englewood up there down to Bayhead, or vice versa. Trust me, I know that.
Yeah.
So just work on something. By the way, I did have a request from the Trenton Country Club to join our league, and I said no because it's just too far. So even though they are in our region, they can't join Philly. Let them join somewhere else. Just because I didn't want to hear from, I think, all the other guys who had to travel from. How would you like to go from Harworth to Trenton to play a paddle match? I couldn't justify that. Justin said before, registration is coming up. We're going to open it up on 9/1. I think it's a very easy process. They've done a lot of good back end work to make it as simple as possible. You can't duplicate like you could the first year. Duplicate meaning we had people multiple register times. You can't do that anymore. So that's going to happen September 1st, and obviously we'll get a note out about that soon. We're also to make your life easier too. Hopefully, it makes your life easier. We're going to clear the rosters out. In the past, we left the rosters as is, and you couldn't really tell unless you're, Sherlock Holmes, who had registered and who had not registered. Right now, the website is cleared of everybody's names. So who's ever on the website going forward post September 1, that means they have registered. That means you can use them. I'm not sure how you can do that I'm not sure how you could do this if we're going to clear out the rosters, but don't play people who haven't registered. People get pissed off because that means they can't, the PTIs can't be populated. And it's just not right to have someone play a match for someone who hasn't paid the fee and is not an APTA member. And we also do buy insurance. We've been doing that for a couple of years, and that goes against their insurance too. That's a lame excuse, I know, but it's actually true. Just don't be that guy. Don't play people that aren't registered.
Hey, Rob.
Yep.
Rob Del Rio from Englewood. Question: if we want to send out an email now to our team from last year, it makes it real simple that we can do that. Can we not do that now because you cleared everything out?
Unfortunately, yes. I know. That's why the note I sent out on Monday didn't go just to captains, went to all 2,500 people that have ever registered or played paddle in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Victor, 100% downside of that issue. Yep. And the 30 emails I got from people saying, I didn't know I was a captain. Well, yeah, I should have made that note there. But yeah, that's downside, Victor. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Right. Thank you.
Last year we did it. It was somewhat successful. We had a Fusion website. You can go on and buy paddle gear with our logo on it. I saw some, I didn't see a lot. I saw some gear out there. Looked pretty cool. We'll get an email out about that, but September 7th to September 14th, if you want to do it. I forgot on PTI. We're still using it, still going to be calculated. You'll still be able to see the PTI of the people, but we need your help on that too as captains. If you know a guy's PTI is just wrong, and not saying wrong by like 1 or 2 or 3 points or 4 points even, really wrong, let us know and we'll look at it. Blake Anderson, Craig Marsden, Rich Ryan, they're set up to do it. They got a system down on how to review things. Let us know. You're our feet on the ground. So let us know if PTI is not right, especially if someone's coming back. New players contact us before you play a new player, and we'll help you guide them where their PTI should be. If the guy who played college tennis Division I, and he's going to play in your, I don't know, J League, and we don't want to start him at 60. He's going to be like a 15, 20 start. So just reach out to us and we'll help you implement a starting PTI for that player. And again, like we've done in the past, if you play a casual match, if all 4 players agree prior to the match that it should count for PTI, put it in the PTI system. It only counts for half, so it's not that big of a deal, but more data, the better. So please get that out to your players.
Hey, Rob, it's Anthony Casamano, Brookside. How are you? At the middle of last season, I think either I or someone else approached or at least brought up the topic about making the end of the league a little bit more competitive. So, Brookside has been pretty competitive with Short Hills, and there's been a couple other teams in the mix, and we've last couple of years have played very early in the season, and it takes away a little bit of that competitive, will to play, I guess, towards the end of the season. So have you guys considered, and of course it's a little bit elusive to know who's going to be the best teams in the league, but are you thinking about that in terms of the schedule for this year?
Anthony, I did get you. I think it was your note. I did get it up. I brought it. I sent it to Andrew and Dennis, Andrew Haynes, Dennis Cusack, who handle the scheduling. And we all think it's a great idea. I mean, it'd be wonderful if we could know, predict, just speaking to the A League, because I know that league so well. If we know that, Short Hills is going to be playing Brookside, it'd be great to schedule them last. It is an absolute nightmare doing our schedule.
Yeah, I knew it's not going to be an easy task. That's
but
why.
no, it's something it's something we could put in the mix. I mean, if it's easy, if it's easy to do, we will do it. It's something we appreciate that type of feedback. It's a good idea, and I get it. It's just not to use an excuse, but our league is a nightmare. We got clubs that can only play away, clubs with only 2 courts, clubs that can't play like Canoebrook. They have, I don't know, what do they have? 10 teams now. They can't play till like mid-October or something. Not mid-October. I don't know when they can play. It's late. So we have a lot. We have a lot of stuff. I love the idea, Anthony. I think it would be great. A couple years ago we tried that playoff. That kind of backfired too. So it's a good idea, and we'll try and implement it as much as we can. Much
Actually, that
appreciated.
raises just a question of intellectual curiosity for me. How do you do all that? How do you handle this through management science, like an algorithm? How do you do it? I'm envious.
I pay somebody to do it, or we pay somebody to do it. There's people that we use the guy. There's 2 people that
manually.
I'm not sure actually how they do it. It's actually unbelievably cheap for what they have to do. I think it's like $500. I mean, you guys pay for it, so might as well know.
No, I was just curious because I can understand it with the it's like a management science problem of conflict. It's like scheduling pilots on planes.
Yeah, I think Dennis is on the call. Dennis, do you know how they do that? Is it an algorithm they put in place, or is it not an algorithm? But how do they do that? Do you know, Dennis?
Yeah, it is an algorithm. It's he's basically a spreadsheet guru, right? But we do massage it. So to answer Anthony's question earlier, the answer is yes. We are trying to do that. We're trying to make the matches competitive at the end of the year. So maybe it's a miss here and there, but typically we are trying to do that.
Great.
Thanks, Dennis. Yep. And believe me, I understand. The first thing when we started talking about this was it's a logistic nightmare just to get these things scheduled. So threw it out there. If you guys can do it, fantastic. I think it'll help a little bit incrementally, but completely understand if it's not possible.
Great. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Dennis.
So us guys at the bottom of the league better get our shit together because we're playing all the good teams early on. Is that what I heard?
That's funny. That's funny.
Nice to hear from you, Adrian.
That's funny.
Well, you guys keep on stealing players, you'll be all right this year. Sorry, inside joke there. That's all I had. We've a little longer than I expected, and I said up to 45 minutes. We're at 47. But I'm happy to. Anybody's got anything else? Happy to hang on for as long as people want to talk some more. Or we could just end the call. So hopefully it starts getting
Have
a
a good
cool.
night. Thank you for a well-organized meeting, and appreciate all your volunteer work. All of you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I'm dropping.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Rob, as wonderful as you are, you're cutting into cocktail hour. So we'll see you during the season.
Hope so. Take care, everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rob. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.